there's this one thing that you've always wanted to do for so many years, but keep procrastinating for whatever reason? Yep, that is my relationship with YouTube for so many years. Up until September 2023, that is when I decided to pull the trigger and started this time-consuming and challenging, but fun and rewarding journey. And today I am here to tell you about how YouTube has been making my life more meaningful and what I've learned since starting this YouTube channel. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fabi, and on this channel I share stories about my non-linear life journey to help you embrace your own journey and feel less alone in the process. So speaking of journey, today I want to talk about my journey as a new content creator here on YouTube. As I mentioned earlier, I started this YouTube channel in September 2023. So as of the time I'm filming this video, it has only been a little over 6 months since I started this channel. Now, the question is, did I only start thinking about creating content and posting things on the internet in 2023? The answer is no. No at all. This idea of creating content in hopes of helping people and sharing what I know with the world had been in the back of my mind since way back when. And so this is where we're going to start today. I am going to break up this video into 3 parts. We're going to start with my timeline, aka all the years that I invested / wasted thinking about starting something, and then we'll move on to how I finally got started, and then we'll wrap up with how being on YouTube has been making my life more meaningful. To kick us off with my timeline, I am going to take you all the way to 2015. So let's go back. 2015 is the year when I started flying as a flight attendant with one of the best airlines in the world, and I've actually created a bunch of videos about my flying life. If you're curious about all things flight attendant, you can check out the playlist that I have on my channel page. And so just before I started, I wanted to create like a travel blog, and I thought to myself, hey, I think it would be cool to share with people about places to go, where to eat. And when I was about to start, I was like, but I only go to these places in a touch and go manner. Wants my advice anyways. I'm not exploring all these places in depth, so I don't think I'm qualified to do this. So I didn't end up creating any travel blog at all. Fast forward to 2017. 2017 to me was probably a year where all the fancy food bloggers with all their bazooka cameras pop up. They would take all the mouth-watering pictures. And I also consider myself a foodie, so I was like, maybe it would be interesting to create a food account where I talk about my favorite foods or like my recommended places to eat from all over the world. I tested that for a bit on my personal Instagram, and then I became hot and cold about it because I ended up eating the same thing over and over. Obviously, I didn't have any content worth sharing. I didn't have like the material that I needed to create content. And so I wasn't committed to doing it. And then 2017 passed just like that. Moving on to 2018. So then 2018 came by, and then I started taking more and more Instagrammable pictures like this while traveling and flying as a flight attendant. And then at that time, I was also, I think, in my poem era, if you will. I love sharing my thoughts on captions. So I thought to myself, oh, maybe I could start sharing some beautiful words, Rupi Kaur wannabe, but then I wasn't very intentional about it. I think at this point we all know that in order to be good at something, in order for something to work, like consistency is key. So consistency is definitely not something that I had in mind during all those years. And so 2018 was just another year that flew by when it comes to my creative journey on the internet. So in 2019, I quit my job as a flight attendant and I moved halfway across the world to Canada. And I started my MBA in September 2019. So not long after I started my MBA, at the beginning of 2020, the pandemic hit. And it felt like the world just stopped. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who felt that way. On one hand, I'm maybe like the 27,231st person who thought about creating something because I was just so bored and I finally had all this time and I just didn't know what to do with it. So I started creating just like funny skits such as this kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting our meal service in 10 minutes time. Today, we're serving beef with potato and chicken with rice. Please do not ask if you can mix and match because this is not a clothing store.
On Instagram, I just drew inspiration from the things that I encountered frequently on board when I was still flying. I thought it would be great because I think if anything that really stopped at the beginning of the pandemic, it was travel. And some people loved it. Like, I remember some of my friends just sending me a message saying that, oh my god, this is like one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a while. And so it made me feel validated at the time, I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, should I take this thing seriously? I think at this point, because of the time that I had during COVID, all these different ideas that I had throughout the years, but just never really materialized, I started thinking, what is it really that's stopping me from just doing the thing? And I realized that, okay, I was afraid of judgment. And then I was also afraid of not being good enough. And I learned that the underlying reason of why I kept procrastinating to go after what I wanted, and in this case, to put myself out there and just creating content, maybe for fun, maybe to help people, whatever that may be. So I kept having this idea at the back of my head, but I never really actioned it. And I remember sharing this idea with my best friend in a very late night conversation back in 2022. I was telling him, I was like, hey, I am thinking about starting my creative journey, and this is why. So after a month of having that conversation, I finally opened up this YouTube channel. As you can see, the YouTube channel was opened in November 2022. And I had that conversation in October 2022. In the same month, I actually started recording a bunch of different videos for my YouTube channel, and it was such an intro video. I created like different versions of my teaser videos and with different ideas. But then, can you find these videos on my channel? No, because I didn't end up posting it. I was just stuck in this one very final step before pulling the trigger, and I ended up never making that jump. No, not in 2022. And so 2022 passed, 2023 came by, and I finally pulled the trigger in September 2023 and posted my first video. So after 8 long years of thinking about starting my creative journey in hopes of helping people, how the hell was I able to finally pull the trigger? So how I finally decided to pull the trigger was I asked myself 3 following questions. The first one is, if money was no object, what would I be doing with my time? And then the second question that I asked myself is, if I started something knowing I could not fail, what would it be? And then the last one, which could be a bit extreme, is fast forward when I reached the end of my life, what would I regret not doing? Anyways, all these 3 questions brought me back to the same answer over and over. It might sound silly if you ask someone, hey, like fast forward when you reach the end of your life, what would you regret not doing? And then someone answered, oh, I would regret not starting a YouTube channel. I don't think it is the what, but the why behind it. Going back to my own experience, it's not about me checking the box of starting a YouTube channel in this lifetime. It's the fear of being judged, the fear of not being good enough. But I think acting, despite of the fear, is actually what would help combat the fear. I think it's a good reminder for me that in order for me to be good at something, I need to be willing to suck at something initially. That's how we learn. I'm a big believer that effortlessness is a myth. Once I was able to just narrow the gap between thinking and doing and just start, like that's when the true learning begins. I wouldn't be able to get better if I didn't start. So in order for me to get better, I just had to start. All these things actually train me to be realistic and combat my perfectionism tendency. I'm actually curious, is there any of you who's watching this video that identifies as a perfectionist? Let me know in the comment section down below, because I really want to know if there are any fellow perfectionists out there who are watching my content. Okay, now let's talk about why I'm really glad that I started this channel and how YouTube has been making my life more meaningful. I have 3 things that I want to share in this section. The first one is being able to help people and build my own small community on this corner of the internet. I honestly feel so thankful for my past self just for starting this channel, because the fact that some people would tell me that they found my videos useful or insightful or just comforting is priceless to me. I can't even begin to tell you how rewarding that feels to be able to just be there for someone even though I am not physically there, or we might not know each other at a personal level, but there is something about connection. So other than being able to engage my own small community here in the comment section, I've also received quite a bunch of DMs or emails from people from all around the world sharing their experiences with me, or just letting me know how much they resonate with my experience or how my content actually helps them. Those things were really priceless. Like, I know that my channel is still small size-wise. I only have less than 5,000 subscribers, and in the YouTube world, this is nowhere considered as successful. But I'm happy to have made my mark, and I am happy to have been able to help people somewhere out there in the world in some way through what I know. So something that's very rewarding for me. The second thing is it helps me develop more self-compassion and get to know myself better. For my YouTube channel, I draw inspiration from my life journey for the most part, and as I reflect on my life and what I went through and what I wanted to share with people, it actually has been a really good opportunity for me to also reflect on my life journey and what I've learned and how far I've come in life. Honestly, surprisingly, like it's a really nice feeling, like, because sometimes like when you're just too focused on a small fraction of your life, like you would feel like, oh my god, like I'm going backwards, or how come I'm not making any progress. But when you zoom out and see a bigger horizon, you would realize how far you've come. I also talked about allowing myself or giving myself permission to not be good right away at something, or to fail, or to suck at something. And I think this process, for someone like me who's trying to recover from perfectionism, having the space just to fail and just do something that I know I'm not really good at yet, I think this actually has expanded my ability to be more compassionate with myself, which is really nice, honestly. And this is something that I can also take and apply to other areas of my life. Doing this YouTube thing also makes me feel less alone too. I feel like I have taken the road less traveled quite a couple times, so it could feel lonely at times. And I know that the whole thing about my channel is to help people embrace their own journey and feel less alone in the process. And actually, when people find my content relatable, or they resonate with my content, that also makes me feel less alone in a way. So it's like a two-way street. I hope that my content has been serving you in one way or another. And the last thing is, it is my refuge. YouTube has become a part of my life that I look forward to, which is a really nice feeling to have something to look forward to. And I also feel more inspired in my day-to-day. I feel like I'm more present, I pay more attention, because whenever I encounter something or think about something, I'd be like, oh, this is something that might be helpful to share with people, or I maybe can talk about this, or oh yeah, this could be a good YouTube topic to discuss. It has been fun to have something that I genuinely look forward to, and I'm not gonna lie, there are parts of the process that I don't enjoy as much. Okay friends, I think this video is pretty lengthy, and so I will stop here, and I hope that you take away something useful from this video. And I know that putting yourself out there and betting on yourself in whatever form that may be, doesn't have to be YouTube, doesn't have to be content creation, can be really scary. So if you're doing it, please pat yourself in the back and give yourself more credit and be proud of yourself for doing it. And this is something that I also need to tell myself as well. That is what life is all about, and that is how we're all gonna get better at something. Thank you so much for being part of this journey, especially the real one. For those of you who have been engaging in my content, really thank you very much. And also let me know, what kind of content are you hoping to see more from me in the future or going forward, because I'd also love to hear from you. I truly appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for being a part of this journey, and I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.